Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param. Okay, Kenupanishad. We stopped last class. We had some challenge with the arrival of the monsoon here and the drop of internet signal. So we came to a point in which Swamiji was presenting that mantra that opens up the classes of this Kenupanishad. And to summarize the Samchipata, which is the sense of Vedanta, no? He explains that the meaning of that in Sanskrit means Sarvam Brahma Sadashiva Brahmendra, yeah? And all this beautiful song. It means only that there is only Brahman, one without a second. Yeah? There is nothing other than consciousness, existence of non-dual nature, the only game in town. This is a mantra present also in the Mundaka. No? So there is only Advaita Brahman. Then what is this plurality of names, colors, and forms we experience? They are just Namarupas. They are superimposition of names and forms upon gold, but the true nature of those Namarupas are gold and gold alone. There is only one substance in the entire cosmos, and that is Brahman, or consciousness, existence. Okay, the next question is, okay, if everything is Brahman and this world is an illusion, it's a projection, a superimposition upon Brahman, and so I'm a lover of truth. I'm a lover of reality. I need to know this Brahman because it's the only reality. So I want to know it. Huh? What are you going to gain by knowing the only reality there is? That doesn't matter. I love the truth, okay, on all levels. Even questioning the very nature of the universe as Namarupas, which fundamentally are not real, I still want to go there because my love for the truth is radical. So to be a Vedantini, you have to have that kind of love for the truth that at the end is going to negate reality to the entire cosmos. Yeah? So what are those Namarupas we all recognize and experience? So as we know, our sense organs are all of them direct to the world of Namarupas. And can you say something, Mark?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So we have the sense organs and the mind, the coordinator of those 5 channels of perceptive collection. So these are all turned towards the phenomenal objects, meaning to say anatima anarupas. And then the mind has, as a field of exploration or investigation or study, it has the anatima namarupas called the universe, or cosmos. So we keep collecting data, trying to understand reality within the unreal world of Namarupas. So the mind and its sense organs are just data collection, or collect data is the only thing we do. So what will be the truth we will discover? Another nama, another rupa only. We're never going to find reality in the unreal world of nama rupas. Therefore, science, which is based on perception and inference, it's based on sensory data, is dealing with the Anatima Namarupa mithya universe, and therefore science will never get to know the truth. Hence, whatever truth they arrive at also will be a mithya apparent truth. That's why their truth is continuously changing. One day they come and say the atom is the ultimate truth. They keep breaking things down to the level of atom, and then they break it further down, and then they go into the subatomic particles. In the end, they say everything is just energy, and then in the end, energy is resolved into space, and they never come to the bottom of it all, because they never look within the light of consciousness doing this exploration into the mithya world of Namarupas. Yeah, so how are we going to know Brahman? We need a totally different pramana, means of knowledge. Means of knowledge, pramana, it has to be a totally different from what? Different from perception and inference in any and all field of science. Any and all fields of science depends on perception and inference. Let me close this here. And that goes also for the mystical esoteric knowledge or science. There is a science of this esoteric mystical experience, which are very subtle, they are abstract and so on. So it's better we don't base our abstract and the vague perception of these realms of reality above and below. It's better we don't take it too serious. We just take the scriptures, because fundamentally the scripture is a better means of knowledge, not only to know the only reality is Brahman, but also to understand a little bit, these subtle levels of apparent realities in a way that it does not become one more distraction. So the goal is how to know Brahman, and then we have a pramana, which is the Upanishad. Is the only means by which, and how come? How so? I mean, human beings would never get to know something which is so simple but so counterintuitive, because they always look at whatsoever consciousness illumines and reveals, and they never take a good look into consciousness itself to understand its nature. They take consciousness to be the mind, and then they are even in more confusion. So only Upanishads, and that's Swamiji is here, and Upanishad alone. Gita comes not under Upanishad. Gita comes under Upanishad-based scriptures, okay? So one thing is this modern text, or even some other less modern texts, but yet they were just composed by human beings, such as the Puranas, and Gita included. These are Upanishad-based scriptures. The Upanishad are those direct revelations that comes through the so-called rishis. Brahma Sutra as well is a Upanishad-based scripture, a body of knowledge. Only the Upanishad alone can tell you what Brahman is and how to discern Brahman from Namarupas, or from the world of phenomenal objects of experience. Since Brahman can be known only through Upanishad, Brahman is given a title with Shankaracharya used very, very often. A title which is Brother Ranika Upanishad also mentioned in the third chapter, a title is given. Am I Brahman? It says knowable only through the Upanishad. So Brahman is that which is knowable only through the Upanishads. Therefore, the prayer is through the study of the Upanishad. Let me recognize the non-dual reality as the very light of consciousness reflecting my mind, which is neither a name nor a form. It's the most subtle of the subtle, is the substratum of all projections. But that which is behind the Namarupa is what the Upanishads points to. Behind, quote unquote, beyond, quote unquote, the best expression is the substratum, the invisible, the most subtle substratum, which is conscious existence that provides human consciousness and human existence among the existence of all other creatures in this planet. In Mandukya, it's also called Anamakam, Arupakam. So the student says, everything is Brahman, knowable only through the Upanishad. And my goal is to know Brahman, and I need the Upanishads. So have we understood this clearly? Have we all understood this clearly?
Yes, I believe so. And then when Swami Paramarthananda goes through the Gita, he's bringing the light of the Upanishads to each verse and discussing it. So so it's the Upanishad base, and they say only the Upanishads can reveal Brahman. So the Gita only can reveal Brahman if used by a proper acharya.
The Gita reveals both, okay? Gita is said to be a scripture of karma, dharma, and moksha, okay? So the Gita is going to reveal the nature of Saguna Brahman with the goal of preparing one's mind for the understanding of the Nirguna Atma nature of Brahman is identical to Jiva-Atma nature. It's the same Atma, okay, the same conscious existence. So the Gita is addressing the entire field of spirituality, religiousness, which is the nature of God, which is fundamental in the first step, the Saguna Brahman, so that we can understand Nirguna Brahman. So Gita is wonderful because it's a condensation of the Vedas that it treats, relates or teaches about, the nature of Saguna Atma and Nirguna Atma as the final chapters of all Vedas, which is Vedanta. So Gita is wonderful because it presents the entire spectrum of Vedantic teachings. But when we said that only the Upanishads are the pramana to know Brahman, it means to say that the teachings on karma, dharma, they will never really reveal the true nature of Brahman because it's not their goal, okay? They are going to be talking about the Saguna Brahman as the supreme intelligence and the laws and principles that allow Ishvara to hold this universe by its intelligent design and so on. Everything that we need to know so that we can understand God, the creator, and I, the creature, and so that I know how to move, transact, interact, and develop the subtlety or the sattva guna required to understand Nirguna Brahman. And that, so the true nature of Brahman is Nirguna Brahman, and that can only be known as I understand my true nature as the same Nirguna Atma. So the point here I was asking to you is, have we understood why only the Upanishads, we can only get the knowledge of Brahman through the Upanishads? Because the Upanishads is the last chapter on the Vedas, in which it's declared that Brahman is your intrinsic nature as conscious existence. It's very simple. So you can only get that by a radical declaration that comes at the end of the Vedas, which is counterintuitive. And because the body-mind is so identified with its limitations, spatial and time-wise limitation, it cannot imagine something as Brahman, which is pictured as vast and limitless. So there is a lot of understanding that is required so that we can assimilate that and claim our true nature as limitless Brahman. So since our true nature is limitless Brahman, there is nothing that we can do that's going to produce that which is my intrinsic, true, real nature. So you're going to need a body of knowledge which are just about your true identity. It's just declarations of identity which are broken down, by the commentators of the Brahma Sutras and among all teachers. So we're going to look into these declarations until we accept it, okay, so I never thought in those terms. So what am I? What is my intrinsic true nature, So what is this? So we usually go up to the mind. We take ourselves to be the mind, the subtle mind. But then the final viveka is discriminate the subtle mind, the good mind or the purified mind or the subtle mind from consciousness and claim one's identity as limitless Brahman or limitless consciousness. So you can never get that from any scripture that propose you or suggests you to do good karmas to get good results. You can only get from a scripture that says, stop, you do not need to do anything. I'm going to tell you the ultimate truth. You are that Brahman, okay? But then more often than not, the Vedanti, the student will not really accept that. And then one may need to do some karma and dharma. That's why the Gita is good, because you're going to work in both sides. You work on the final declarations and you work on preparing the mind to finally accept and claim that, so that it is a doubtless knowledge in respect to your true identity, nature. So you cannot get it from anywhere else, because anywhere else they are going to tell you that Brahman has attributes. Brahman is like Jesus, like that, and Brahman is something other than you. Only Upanishads are going to say it has no attributes, At the most you can say it has a funny nature, which is more about conscious existence. You understand? So you find those final declarations of identity only in the Upanishads, which revealed knowledge direct from Ishvara, okay? Seeing the situation down here in this planet, you say, oh my God, I have to give some hint to these people, but I'm sure they are not going to believe it, And then I have to provide gurus and teachers and all these things. Brahman cannot be known through any other means, such as perception and inference. The tendency of most people in the spiritual world is to negate the existence of God or Brahman, okay? Why? Because it's not knowable through the mind and the sense organs. It's not knowable through modern science, in spite of all the efforts that science has been putting up to get down to the God particle. And then Swami goes on to say, it's a huge crisis we live in nowadays. And my sincere, humble take is that every time civilization develops technologies and science to some extent, it believes that now I can know God objectively. I can know God, by studying science, and they are moving farther and farther and farther away from God. Now they have the instruments that they're going to say that no, only science is the ultimate authority. All the other is superstitions, just myths and anything. God is a myth, there is no God. They have no understanding of what they are doing by rejecting even the first baby steps in the process of understanding the nature of Saguna Nirguna God. People accept only that which can be known through science, and science uses perception and inference. Therefore, science will never reveal Brahman, and they will end up rejecting the idea of Brahman at the end, because if I cannot find, it means there is no such a thing. What is there is just matter, nature, matter. Energy, matter is the only reality. And then matter, oh no, when you look into matter, you see that, it's not really matter. You look into the world, you just see energy, and then they say that the true nature is just energy, So anything that can be captured by the mind, the five senses, and our modern instruments is going to be taken as reality. These are the so-called rational people who depend on reason to define what is reality. But these people do not have enough sufficient reasoning power. They don't have enough. It's difficult to understand that. They may have a lot of sattva guna because it is the energy that allows people to really inquire into the nature of the anatma universe. But they don't have enough introspection or spiritual tendency or vasanas to look into the light of consciousness doing the inquiry. So any really, really wise person, people with intellectual power, they must come to the point of understanding the limitation of the mind and its reasoning process. Vedanta says a rational person is one who knows the limitations of the reason. Beautiful. The so-called rationalist people who depend upon modern science say, we do not believe in God. The present generation is facing this problem. It's so sad to see that everybody is so deeply misled. Everybody is somehow, the story of God is just a superstition of the past. Yeah. So their own children are refusing to accept God, temples, religion, religious activities. My own son has moved away from religion and spirituality, because the modern brainwashing educational process is going to point to, no, you have to touch, feel, hear, and taste to prove the reality of anything here. Otherwise, it's just superstition. God comes under superstition in this modern society. Brahman comes under superstition. This is a tragedy. Upanishad comes under superstition. Swamis come under promoters of superstition. All the students come as victims of this superstition, of cheating Swamis. This is the modern education. Even in India nowadays, I hear Swamiji pointing to that sometimes. Our own children and grandchildren are gradually sucked into this so-called, materialism, rational system of materialism. I only believe in things that can be proved through perception, and inference. And then Swami says, we need to study a lot of Upanishads to understand the limitation of reasoning. We need to study a lot of Vedanta to understand and just see, my God, I mean, how can I be so, identified with the process of knowing, seeing, if every knowledge so far presented to us was subject to revision and proved to be not precise, the facts and so on, and why I'm still invest to find the reason as the only means by which I can get true knowledge. Our instruments, our five sense instruments, our mind, and our modern scientific instruments are designed to study only the objective phenomenal world. The very study, investigation, inquiring of the true subject principle, the consciousness who is doing the inquiry, is never available for objectification, because the scientists can only know things objectively. And since its own true nature as consciousness is never available for objectification, so they are like, oh, I don't see consciousness. Because they have an incredible tendency to look for knowledge through objectification. A science which is using all kinds of instruments to analyze the objective world, how can it ever study Brahman? How can it ever study the true nature of the inquirer as limitless conscious existence? Therefore, Brother Ranika makes a powerful statement: the inquirer can never be inquired into. You can never really objectively inquire into the nature of your true self, your true Atman. Objectively, you can never do this inquiry. You need a means of knowledge that's going to reveal to us something which is very, very, very counterintuitive, which is, I am consciousness of limitless nature. I am Satchitananda Brahman. But I know that not because I have got in contact with Brahman objectively, but I understood the Upanishads. I understood in such a manner that it is a doubtless knowledge, never subject to forgetfulness. When the eyes can see everything, the eyes cannot see themselves. This is a very simple analogy. Consciousness is going to allow us to see everything through the five senses, to experience everything, but consciousness is outside of the structure, space, time produced by Maya Ishvara. Therefore, it's not available within the Maya creation, but it's from the only reality that provides and allows consciousness to objectify Namarupas in this phenomenal world we call anatima. The same way the eye can see everything but not themselves. How can they see conscious I who is behind the eye? The eyes cannot see the eyes themselves. You're going to need a mirror for that. This is a nice analogy. The eyes will need a mirror. The same way we need a mirror, and this mirror is composed by words and concepts that we know as the Upanishadic teachings. That's going to reflect to each one of us our true nature. And then once you see, you have seen it. I can't see it directly. I can't see it direct. Oh no, but some people, they somehow they got it without getting contact with the Upanishad. They may have got in contact with Upanishad in previous births. And somehow it was easy for those so-called spiritual geniuses to understand that at early age, such as the case of Ramana. If the eyes cannot even see themselves, how can the eyes see behind themselves as consciousness. If the mind cannot even see itself, how can it see the consciousness feeding or holding the mind, sustaining the mind? The seer can never be seen with any amount of instruments, much less with all these modern scientific instruments. So the Brahmanic declaration, Vakyam, is Vinyantaram Arkena Vyajam. So with what instrument can you know the knower? It's such a profound question. Huh? It is wonderful for Nididhyasana. So by which power I can know the knower? I can see the knower. No, I can understand the knower. What is the instrument of knowledge to know the true nature of the knower, the body-mind knower? What a question. It is a $1 trillion question. With what instrument you can know the knower? That's why the consciousness is and remains an eternal mystery for modern science. And human beings, if they cannot know and something, they just reject it and say, no, it's non-existent. If I cannot know, it's non-existent. That's why the consciousness is eternal mystery. The more they start consciousness, quote unquote, the mind, believing that the mind is the end of it, the end of the road. The more they start human consciousness, let's say, the more number of theories they bring up. More scientific enters, he introduced another set of theories. At the end, what we get? More and more confusion, says Swami Paramarthananda. And it's my impression that he's curious enough to look into some of these theories. He likes to explore a little bit science. But there are some rare scientists who have recognized the limitation of science, and they have started saying, perhaps the truth may be a mystery, eternal mystery, never solved mystery. So at least it is something. He's not saying that the truth is just energy. They are not saying the truth is just space. They may say that the truth is a mystery. They will never say the truth is matter because their scientific instruments take them beyond physical matter. But they will say the truth is energy or the truth is space. Very rarely you're going to find scientists that will say the truth is eternal mystery. How so? It is eternal mystery if you want to be the truth by perception and inference. They say so because they do not come to the Upanishad. Why they do not come? They don't have that vasana playing on his side. They are extroverted. They will never come to the Upanishad because they are unqualified. How so? They are so geniuses. They are so intelligent. They are so, creative, but somehow it's lacking something there. We may say introvertedness, maybe, or introspection. If we come to the Upanishad, the truth will not be seen as a mystery, because the Upanishads say you must know Brahman. The purpose of your life is to know Brahman, and you're gonna know Brahman through the Upanishads. So therefore, we have this prayer, oh Lord, let me never negate Brahman. Let me never negate God. Let me never negate Ishvara, because it is the most tragedy is to become an atheist and negate God, because it's your true nature. it is the nature of that intelligence that brought about this birth of your body-mind. And the purpose is for you to acknowledge this Saguna Brahman, and in the process develop the Sattva Guna required and the spiritual tendency required to understand that you are that Brahman. Therefore, negating God is the biggest tragedy there is. And we live in a materialistic society or civilization in which people make wars because my God and your God, you see what's happening in the Middle East. It has a base on religion. It's much more on religion than trying to grab land or territorial position. There is a background of my God against your God, my religion against your. So they go to that level of naiveness or infantility to declare even wars in the name of God, not understanding that the God is just this supreme intelligence that holds everything in this planet in place. But we need to understand the laws and principles of God, and we need to conform to the laws of karma, the moral, ethic laws, understand this relation. But, even the people who has accept God, they are so limited in their understand that they are ready to blow the planet with wars. Lynn, it's unbelievable. So rare the people that come to Vedanta, to the Upanishads, and to the Gita to understand the nature of Saguna God and the nature of Nirguna God, and live in peace with one another, with our neighbors. Therefore, the prayer is, let me never negate you, let me never fall to materialism, even if it is subtle, interdimensional materialism. Let me never fall for these things. I want to know the true nature of God, because I heard that is identical to my true nature. There is another verse that is also very beautiful. It's presented as a daily puja, which says, I do not know, O Lord, what is your nature, whether you are male or female. I do not know to which category you belong to, but whatever be the category you belong to, I do namaskara to you. I do not know where you are, how you are, but whatever be your tattva, your nature, I do not know you, but I do not want to negate you. I offer my namaskara to you. Let me know your true nature at the right time. This is so beautiful. It's pointing to something which is the initial step. At the beginning, we can never know the true nature of Saguna Brahman because, only Ishvara knows, only Saguna Brahman knows itself as this total knowledge, intelligence. So we don't know. We project those things that God is something like a superhuman. We do not know. So in the first steps, we need to acknowledge our limitation. I don't know anything about you real in truth. Okay, I don't know your true nature. I'm trying to understand your true nature. I don't know if I should call you he or she. I don't know which category you belong, but whatever you belong to, I do my namaskara to you. Why? Because at least I have confidence, faith that there is a creator. You understand? And my faith is such that in one way or the other, I say, I will never know for sure. I will never know your true nature is pure knowledge, pure sattva guna. I know very little about you, but this little I know about you due to the teachings of the Gita allows me to do my namaskara with great faith in you, because I understood that the entire universe is designed by you, following certain rules, sustaining by these rules and laws and principles, and I take anything as prasad. I understood cause and effect. I understood karma. So even in a more rudimentary level, the individual who does not understood Saguna Ishwara as pure knowledge, is still there is a faith that there is a creator, okay? And then the person he become a God-fear person, not a God lover, but at least there is a faith that I should make an effort to do right here, because otherwise I will pay in hell, you know? So we present the namaskara to God in whatsoever level of our development understand. I do not know where you are, if it's in the sky or here and that. I mean, maybe you are not anywhere. In fact, you are not anywhere, because now I'm a Kami Yogi. You are pure Sattva Guna. I don't know, whatever is this nature that now I start perceiving as total knowledge. I do not know this knowledge of yours, because I know so little, even in respect to your true tattva, your true nature. But I do not want to negate you. Please help me not to negate you. Help me never to walk away from you, because this is the most disastrous moment in one's life. Therefore, I offer my namaskaran to you. And then in due time, let me know your nature. In due time, okay? I will grow into the understanding of your Saguna nature, and I will develop the strength to deal with Parabhada, adverse Parabhadas. I will offer my actions with a spirit of love, dedication, donation, attitudes of gratitude. And I will take anything with this faith in my heart that everything is happening according to your intelligent design. So therefore, what's the prayer here? Maham Brahman Nirakuryam. Let me not reject you. Let me not negate you. And similarly, let not God also reject me or desert me. It's the other side of the thing. Mama Brahma Nirakarot. So may God not reject or negate me. And the first one, and Maham Brahma, let me not desert or negate God. So I want to really keep this relationship as the most fundamental relationship of one's life, because it is. But if you reject, and then one is destroy one's soul. Very beautiful, this prayer. Okay, a little recap of Swami from the previous file. They say that the first prayer is, I need to be fit. My sense organs, if you remember, need to be fit. I need to be able to see, to hear, and everything, to read. And because my goal is the pursuit of self-knowledge. So when we come to Vedanta, you know already which is the end goal here. The end goal here is Atmayana. My intermediary goals is fitness, preparedness, maturity, certain development. So I have my final goal and my intermediary goals. A Vedantin is the one who understood what is my final goal and never lose sight of that, and then works to develop or gain those intermediary goals as well. This is a well-informed student. What is the message of the Upanishad? He presents in one sentence. I said in the last class, the message is Sarvam Brahman, there is only Brahman. one without a second. Everything is Brahman, and Brahman is not available for perception and inference. Seeing the universe is a form of misperception, is a vision of the anathema, okay? Not of the atma. Anybody trying to understand the ultimate knowledge through perception is going to get a misperception of reality, because reality will never be gained by perception. If you have the right knowledge, you will see the universe as what? As conscious existence. The only reality. Everything is Brahman. What is Brahman for a wise person is the universe for the anyani, ignorant person. Is a beautiful sentence. What is Brahman for the yani is the cosmos, the manifestation of the universe for the anyani person. What is a rope for the wise person is a snake, and so on. What is gold is a ring or any other ornament. There is only one truth. It's the fundamental substance or the fundamental essence of everything that is superimposed upon this adhisthana. What is seen as Brahman by wise is misperceived as the world by the scientists and many other people, materialist people. The Vedantic student wants to correct this misperception of reality. So he will also be able to see that everything is Brahman, and he will ask God to facilitate this in this endeavor. How can we get this knowledge? This knowledge cannot be gained through any conventional instruments of knowledge. The body-mind complex, intellect, and all the scientific instruments. Okay, he gives some example here. According to modern science, if you see a microphone, you may be misled to believe that this is real, because the reality of the atoms in fast motion giving us the perception of anything. So our perception is not designed to see things at the subatomic or even the atomic level. And people say, oh, how unfair. I can only see things like this and like that. This is a limitation. Maybe some entities have designed this that way just to mislead and trap all eyes here in some side. There are all kinds of theories out there. The fact is that every living creature is designed a certain way according to this incredible, intelligent, supreme power. Instead of being satisfied with whatsoever perception and discrimination faculty we were given, oh, no, I should see more Jesus, should be, it's unbelievable. And people trip with conspiracies that come, from somewhere that, have trapped all us here with a set of instruments of knowledge experience that are too limited. Okay, the truth according to modern science, this is just to complete that reasoning, is the tendency of victimization that people have. They have to blame someone. When they do not know who to blame anymore, they blame some people, some beings from other dimension that somehow have designed us, like that. Any animal we have here has a different set of perceptions. The instruments is different. We have the best one and we're still complaining. Unbelievable. The eyes cannot see it. For that, you require more than science. So, and then the scientists say, oh, a wall is not really a wall. Similarly, according to Vedanta, the world we perceive is just consciousness, existence. is only Satchitananda Brahman. The world that we perceive is only Brahman. The scientists see that the world is just the atoms moving very, very dynamically. So the world we perceive the same way is only Brahman, which is the most subtle of the subtle, is the space of the space, the atom of the atom. But the eyes are not designed for that. The eyes we have, the five senses, and the mind is not designed to see Brahman. For that, we require totally different of science, which is the Upanishad. Brahman, therefore, is called Upanishadam Brahman, that which can be seen only through the Upanishad, the instrument called Upanishad. And there is nothing mystical about that. It's not some mystical instrument that I put here, and now I see Brahman. No, there is nothing mystical about that. Okay? It's just pure, simple knowledge presented to the intellect, the human intellect, and the intellect is qualified, purified. It will see Brahman as one's very true identity, nature. Everything is only this consciousness. So simple. Therefore, Brahman is titled Upanishadam. Very important word to be noted. What is the meaning of this Upanishadam? Means knowable only through the Upanishad. Brahman is knowable only through the Upanishad. Until I study the Upanishads truly, carefully, I will not know Brahman. But even though I have not yet understood, the student says, let me not negate Brahman. I'm doing my best. I'm studying the Upanishads. I'm trying to understand Brahman. I heard that I can only understand Brahman as myself, but I'm still having some difficulty. My mind, my vasanas still tend to say that's not possible. It could not be that simple. My mind will say, no, it must have some attributes that I can somehow pinpoint. I still see Brahman as something out there that I need to accomplish. But at least the student, the Vedanti, will say, let me never negate God. Let me never negate Brahman. Never become a spiritual materialist. Spiritual materialist is what there is out there in these spiritual circles. Maham Brahma Nirakuram. It will be intellectual arrogance to negate what I do not know. Let me never negate Brahman. And Vedanta says that is an arrogance to negate that which you do not know. But people do that all the time. We tend to do that all the time. Because you cannot know your true nature objectively, you're going to negate your true nature, which, by the way, is the nature of Brahman, the nature of God. This is intellectual limitation, which manifests as arrogance. It is arrogance to negate what I do not know. If I don't know what God is, I negate God. What is there in the world? Whatever I know is there. Svagam is not there. Why? Because I do not know. Naraka is not there. So he's saying, like, even the upper lokas, celestial lokas, the Svagam, and the divine souls, no, the deities, holding those Svagams. So I don't know that. And then the Vedas say that there is such a thing. But I do not know, and then I negate. So in the first step, we need to have faith in the scripture, because we don't know anything. But what kind of faith? A faith pending the result of my gradual inquiry. So Naraka, the lower lokas in which I'm going to experience a lot of papan, so that I can exhaust my sins. It's not there. Why? Because I can't see it. I can't experience. People are so gross that they don't know, they don't understand that Naraka or this inferior locus, they are here, manifest as one's mental state of grief, suffering, desperation. You understand? It's there. It's not a place, it's a state. But I don't know it because I only believe in things that can be touched in the structure of space-time. It can be smelled, can be seen. It's arrogance, and it's stupid arrogance because there are so many things that we cannot see, but we know that are there. Vedanta says this is all intellectual arrogance based on intellectual ignorance regards to this, even this mithya nature of Namarupas. Mithya is beautifully designed. It's not the absolute reality, but even though our perception inference cannot really get to understand the laws and principles holding together this apparent order, we can understand it by following the teachings of the Vedas, the nature of this mithya namarupa apparent projection. So to negate the intelligent hold in this universe is arrogance. If my instrument of knowledge, the intellect, does not understand, shall I negate that? So if we would have that attitude, we would have to negate everything when we go to the college or to the universe, because in the beginning we don't know anything. If I do not know Svargan, the conclusion is that must not exist. Svargan does not exist, it's just an utopia. The conclusion must be what? A brilliant, modest intellect conclusion is I do not have the instrument to recognize the existence of these celestial realms. I hear rumors, but I look into the logic presented by the Vedas and I find it very, very convincing. I have faith in the Vedas, therefore I accept the existence of upper locus and inferior locus. Without that humility, the intellectual humility, one cannot understand the Vedas and the Vedanta. Therefore, the student says, let me never negate Brahman, let me never become that arrogant. Just because my puny intellect cannot know it by itself. Then the Swami say, not only I am humble, not only I am humble, but I am a devotee of the Lord as well. Therefore, I pray to the Lord, may not Lord also negate me. This is all very beautiful. So I'm very humble, and I'm just holding on to you, Lord. Make an effort to understand your Saguna nature and live according to your laws and principles. I have total faith, confidence in the Vedas, and I pray to you never to abandon me, never to negate me. Negating me, how is the Lord going to negate anyone? No, the Lord is going to give back to each one of us our parabada. But of course, a devotee with that level of faith and confidence and attitude of spiritual religious attitude, coming to the point of asking, please keep an eye on me so that I don't lose my discrimination. Keep an eye on me so that I don't negate you or I just go, astray in my path. I want to keep growing until I fully recognize you, Brahman. In one of the Shivaratri talks, it was said, with regard to God, Hinduism has got two levels of approach. Hinduism has got two levels of approach. In the Veda Purva Bhaga, we worship God based on faith. Okay, this is very beautiful. Let me highlight this one here. Therefore, the first level is God worship based on faith, not on knowledge. Then we become a karma yogi, and then we start to understand the nature of Saguna Brahman, and we start getting the teachings in the very Gita of the nature of Nirguna Brahman. But first of all, I need to have faith on the scripture, and that is based on faith in God. With faith in God, with worshiping God, with development of this attitude of devotion to God, I will get the intellectual refinement and purification so that I can go to the second level, which is know God. The second level is the Upanishad stud. Faith in God will be converted into knowledge of God, which happens again by the grace of God. So faith-based karma, then jnana-based wisdom. We never start with jnana. We start with faith. This is so profoundly beautiful. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, we come back to more Kenupanishad Monday and Tuesday, okay? And we go back to Gita next Friday. We just change things around. Anything else?
To just share with you the appreciation of how beautiful all this is. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It is such a privilege for us to meet 3 times a week, huh? So it's to me as well, much appreciated this small group. Yeah.
Yeah, to me also, Lindo and Lynn and Sylvia. Yeah, much gratitude. Yeah, and to God, of course, to Ishvara.
Yeah.
I'm always surprised that people don't believe in God. I don't know how people can walk not believing in God myself. Every time I walk in the woods or even in the vegetable garden, I see evidence of God and everywhere. Just the way it's designed, the way it all functions. I just don't understand that people can't see it, really.
It's mind-boggling the fact that people cannot see that which is behind this manifest world of Namarupas. I mean, anybody with some sensibility like me and you, we can see the intelligence behind all of this, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very, very strange.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
they say that's Kali Yuga. We're gonna get through this, and what comes next, only God knows.
Well, Sat Yuga apparently.
Yeah.
So that's nice to think about. Yeah.
Okie dokie. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. Good weekend for you guys, and it's so hot, it's so quickly that a week goes by. So in a few days we are back with Keno. Bye-bye. Love you, hug you, see you.
Thanks, Lindo. Okay, bye now.